Hello everyone, this is H to the Husky here. I'm going to be casting a 1 versus 1 between the little one spawning down here as the blue Zerg on the bottom right side, and his opponent is going to be Jimpo, the red Terran on the top left side. Now these replays were sent to me by the little one. Now before everyone freaks out and trips balls and thumbs up all the comments about how I shouldn't say they sent me these replays, I know for a fact that there are losses in here. The little one actually sent me the last 30 games of his ladder, and that does include all of his losses. I am casting these at random, so I don't know if they're going to be good games. I don't know if they're going to be wins or losses. I just know it will be against really good players, and they are all going to feature the little one. So everyone just calm down, take a breather, and let's give each other hugs and be really excited to watch this game. And I am excited to watch this game for one main reason, and that reason is I recently cast a Jimpo game where he played the little one. However, the little one spawned as Terran. This time the little one is spawning as Zerg, which is outstanding because the last game was pretty good, and I think even in that cast I was like, I want to see more Jimpo games, and I randomly selected one of the latter games out of this replay pack, and lo and behold, it is Jimpo on the same map, but the little one is playing as Zerg this time. So I'm pretty excited. I don't know about you, but we'll see how this game plays out. A lot of players do enjoy watching the little one play as Zerg. Oh, hate when that happens. He just misclicked his drones there a little bit. Everyone does that. It's what happens when you get a little too excitable and you start APM spamming. Now, it does look like the little one going to be going for his expansion right away. He is going to be getting that on the 15, 16-ish mark, and the reason he is doing that is because on this map, it is very friendly for doing a fast expand like this. Why do you ask? Well, the expansion is in your back end of the base, and of course, there are these backdoor rocks right here that you can kill to get this expansion. However, you just defend this ramp in the early game, and then you can hold it pretty easily. Now, one thing we saw, I believe it was the little one. I have to reorganize my cord here as my mouse is freaking out. Okay, one thing we did see, I believe it was the little one do, is he actually put marauders right here and was killing the rocks from across this gap. A lot of times what you'll see players do is run them all the way around through here and start attacking these rocks right away, but that puts your army completely out of position. However, he did have them here, so you can not only lock down the entrance, but you also are killing the rocks on the side as well. So Jimpo wisely scouts down here, sees exactly what's going on, and he'll also see the timing of the gas right now for Genro, as well as the spawning pool timing. And so he knows in his head that he is going a fairly heavy macro play, at least getting out the expansion before the spawning pool. So there's not going to be any super early Zerglings on the field, as they can be effective if the Terran player does not wall in, simply because this ramp is a little bit wide open. And so they will get up in there, and you can see that Jimpo not even opting to wall in or anything. He did not get a tech lab either. He is going straight for the factory, using all of his gas to get that up as soon as possible. Would not be surprised to see Jimpo actually get an expansion here fairly early, because if he doesn't, then he will be behind in that macro play, and then he will either have to do some damage with Banshees or Hellions, or he will just have to be a little bit delayed on his expansion. So we're just going to wait to see exactly what he's getting. And Destiny Cloudfist build on the way here for Jimpo, getting his barracks factory into the starport, which is now on the way. And Jimpo's still on that one gas, which is pretty common for Terran. You can sit on that one gas for quite a while. The little one opting to do the same thing, as he is going to be getting out his Zergling speed. He wants to make sure not to get out too many Zerglings, especially if his opponent is getting Hellions, and if a Banshee comes out and you have too many Zerglings, and the Zerglings tend to be not as effective as they should be. Now, Jimpo actually does have an SCV down here with this army, and I was kind of curious if he's sending a second SCV. No, he is just sending Marines, the Hellion, and one SCV, and additional Marines are on the way as well. So it will come down to the micro. Look at this positioning of these Zerglings. That is kind of cute. That is a super rainbow of death here. Now he's spreading these out to hold the line as long as possible, and he may try to attack this all once. Here come the Zerglings right now. It's going to come down to the micro of the Terran player trying to run back down the ramp. It does look like the little one will get a nice surround there, blocking the Marines off from retreating. He did kill the SCV, which that SCV can repair that Hellion, and so now the little one, he is making 18 Zerglings. However, he is going to lose an Overlord, as well as all those Zerglings that he just lost. So he has lost quite a few resources and units now, and he is forced to bring off the drones. All the Zerglings are desperately trying to spawn. Now the Zerglings are going to try and get us around. The drones coming in here to help as well. Just need to be careful of those Hellions that they do not do too much flash damage, which is exactly what they're going to try and do. It looks like some of the drones have, or I believe at least one drone died. Yes, there was the charred remnants of that drone. And is it remnants or remains, or does either word work in that situation? However, the little one did hold this off. At what cost? 500 resources lost for both players. I don't think these Zerglings are going to be able to kill this Hellion, although they will get some scouting in just a little bit before they sizzle away. They saw the bunker go down, as well as the additional Hellions. So I don't know if the little one has seen that starport. No, he hasn't even seen anything, so he doesn't know what the buildings are producing here, which apparently the starport not making anything right now, as the Banshee just has finished. And we do not see the cloaking on the way, which it is common for Terran players just to transition into one Banshee and just kind of kill the Zergling right here at that watchtower just to get some center map control. And since the Banshee has been revealed, the chances of this Banshee actually doing too much damage, extremely slim. Now, that's just because the little one will have time to get out queens. There is a second queen on the way at the expansion. However, the Banshee could do some harassment to the drones depending on the micro. However, these rocks are getting destroyed here by these Zerglings, and they are not repairable, so that SCV can do nothing about it. However, the Hellions can shoot the Zerglings, and look at this, going to leave one Zergling right here just to kind of scout it out. I think the positioning of that should allow it to survive, and maybe the Hellions can go down here and shoot. I'm not actually sure if they'll be in range right there. They do decide to drive off, so that Zergling is going to have his work cut out for him, as this Zergling does 2 damage at a time to the rocks out. Now, there has been 5 kills right there. Those were drones, and the queens now, though, since there are 2, can hold it off. You can see the Banshee took about half HP of her life there. So, again, doing some economic damage, and I'm kind of curious on the worker count. Look at this. 35 drones to 28 SCVs. Jimpo just now getting out his own expansion, which his timing isn't too late, and he actually has reinforced the backside with some supply depots there, just to be safe. This Zergling is still hacking away at these rocks. I don't know if the little one's going to actually be able to kill that or not. Now, it's surprising to me that we have not seen the Infernal Pre-Igniter upgrade, as there are a lot of Hellions out, although he is now transitioning into siege tanks, which is pretty common for Terran players. We do see a medevac on the way as well. Not sure if we'll see siege mode. We should, though, as Marines and siege tanks are a pretty common combination, and these Hellions will do a lot of damage to any Zerglings that the little one does decide to get. I believe that there was a Hydralisk Den being produced. Yes, it is now completed. The Overseer are going to be scouting in here and see exactly what's going on. He's also going to see the timing of that expansion. He's going to be pretty happy, though, with how late that expansion is. This is going to give the little one the opportunity to either tech up or drone up, and he could go for an army, I guess, but probably best that he begins to tech up, which is why we're seeing the Infestation Pit right now, which can open up either Broodlords, Ultralisks, and, of course, the Infestors themselves. We have seen the little one utilize all these. I think that Zerg become extremely more powerful once you get that Infestation Pit out, because that just opens up so many tech paths that you can take instead of just getting, you know, Roach Hydra or Zerglings or something like that. Now, this Banshee trying to do more damage, really only killing a Zergling there, and not going to be doing too much. I think these Banshee's days are numbered. She is extremely low on HP. This Marine's day is less numbered, as he got annihilated. The second Marine, man, did not get the phone call from his other Marine friend. And goodbye, Banshee. You are out of here. Shooting that Hydralisk once before dying. Now, I do like how the little one is keeping his Overseer up here in the back corner. Gonna fly it in here again to scout, see exactly what's going on. Jimpo's really either gonna have to get lucky with his Marines or get a Viking to kill that. Otherwise, the Overseer will sit in the backside and just heal up. Now, Jimpo is going to be getting out a medevac, and apparently just one medevac. Now, we do have Infestors on the way, as well as the Hydra range just now finishing, and we are getting some Overlord upgrades as well. Stim Pack just now on the way, actually, for Jimpo, and he is not getting the shield upgrade at all. So Jimpo is definitely behind in tech right now because of his first attack. It was okay. It did slow down that, but after that, he hasn't been able to follow it up because the timing of his expansion was a little bit late. So he is going to be behind in the macro. Whoops. And if we look at the SCV count, this is exactly why. So he is going to have to remember to keep making SCVs nonstop, which is exactly what he's doing. And have these rocks been destroyed? No, they are still there remaining with, what is that, a quarter HP? A little bit than a quarter of its HP remaining. And if we look at the army size, they're actually identical here. The reason for that, though, is the little one is taking this expansion in the center. And for some reason, I always think that this expansion is a high-yield expansion because it's in the center and very difficult to defend. But it is not a high-yield expansion. It's just a normal expansion. However, he will have an expansion on his opponent. And one important thing about this map, very hard to secure your third base. Now, we do have a potential Hellion drop over here. This Hydralisk is not going to intercept it, though. Why would we drop these Hellions here? I'm not sure what the point of that was, but they did kill that Hydralisk pretty quickly, and that could force the little one back into a defensive position, which is exactly what's going on. Look at this. The little one not overreacting. He is sending a couple of Hydralisks and the Infestor down here, and the reason he's sending that Infestor is because you can fungal growth the medevac and then snipe it with all the units inside. So I like how the little one did not overreact, and also the little one saw that the medevac was flying away, so he also is retreating with those few units that he sent back there. So he is just reacting accordingly. Whoops, I accidentally clicked on, I think that was the help menu or something like that. So we can learn to play StarCraft here through that help menu. Now there is a second factory done for Jimpo. He does have a weapons upgrade on the way, as well as getting out, I believe that's a second engineering bay, as he wants to get as many upgrades as possible. And the Overseer still scouting out over here, and the Overseer is still alive. And actually, look at that, he is using the Contaminate ability. For those of you who don't know, it's something that isn't used that often. Contaminate prevents any upgrades or units from being produced at that building, and so that's something that a lot of players actually forget is even in the game. So good use of that there. It does cost 75 energy, so that's something, once the Overseer is at full mana, you can just kind of use it quite a bit on those buildings. And so it is good to see him utilizing that. We do have a third factory on the way. Now I want to mention that he's getting a lot of siege tanks, which will be pretty effective against those infestors. Now infestors can get that burrow and movement speed underground, and they can use the infested Terrans, which can mess with the AI a little bit because the siege tanks will be shooting the infested Terrans. However, the siege tanks do have a really long range, and if you micro the shots correctly, you can snipe those infestors very easily. Now he does once again contaminate this, so you can see the upgrade has been halted here. Everyone that's researching those fancy guns in there is like, it stinks way too much in here. We are not going to work anymore until this smell is taken care of. But the important thing is that the little one has map control, so it's going to be up to Jimpo to push out with his army to make something happen. However, these Marines do not have the combat shields, so fungal growth is going to be devastating. But there are several siege tanks on the field now, so if he positions those correctly, he will be in great shape. But now he is going to have to deal with the mighty Ultralisk, so he really wants to push out before these spawn. I don't know if he's going to be able to, though. However, he is going to be leapfrogging his siege tanks down here, getting them in a good position, and making sure not to clump them up too much. It's just that without combat shields, these Marines are extremely vulnerable to that fungal growth. And I always say it, but the little one puts the fun in fungal growth. I'm not sure how this Ursadak has 2 HP. They only have 10 HP, so the little one attacked it but didn't do 10 damage to actually kill it. That is animal abuse, though, if I've ever seen it. So here comes Jimpo right now. 4 Ultralisks are going to be spawning. We do have a Baneling Nest as well as a Spire, and so this is the moment of truth for Jimpo. He needs to make something happen here, and just looking at the army size, he is at a disadvantage. However, if we look at the unit counting station, he does have slightly less SCVs, which means slightly more workers, whoops, I said that wrong, which means slightly more attacking units, although losing some of them to that fungal growth there. You can see how quickly that fungal growth slices through those Marines. So these Marines are going to be a little bit too scared to go into the front of the line, simply because of the fact that fungal growth is no fun if you are a Marine. Now the little one getting in position here with the Ultralisk on the right side, this massive army up on the high ground, so he is going to be getting a flank attack here. A couple fungal growths on these Marines would completely kill them. However, they do have the combat shields. There goes one fungal growth, and the splash damage from the Ultralisk will completely slice and dice this entire army. I feel like I'm watching some sort of horrible infomercial. However, Jimpo able to hold the line. Like I said, the siege tanks being extremely effective there, killing off those Ultralisks, and wow, actually able to hold that. Only one Ultralisk remaining. The siege tanks with only +1 attack, able to hold the line there. The Marines have the 1 attack and the 1 armor, so now Jimpo does have a little momentum moving down here. He is running into a bunch of stray Overlords, although running no more because the fungal growth does lock those units down in the spot, and they cannot go anywhere. So what is Jimpo producing? He is making Marines and siege tanks, and that is it. So he is going to have a very difficult time in dealing with these Ultras if they continue to pour out here, which they are. There's 3 more Ultras, 16 Zerglings, and more now being made, as well as a Greater Spire on the way, even getting out some Banelings. And we do have the Baneling speed upgrade and more Overlord upgrades, so we could see Bane Rain, which is what I decided I guess I'll call it. I don't know what else to call raining Banelings on your opponent. And now Jimpo is in position to secure this expansion. He just has to wait for this creep to retreat. He does not have a Raven right now because he probably simply cannot afford to produce one. Plus, you'd have to lift off this starport to get a new add-on. So no Raven for him to spot these creep tumors. I do want to draw attention to the fact that creep tumors are everywhere, and that just gives the little one a lot of map control. Now, I think the macro of the little one is really starting to kick into overdrive here. However, his upgrades, not as good as they could be. You can see he's not even getting any more upgrades, of course, right when I say that he starts to get another one. But these Ultras don't even have the attack upgrade. That's why they weren't able to kill that army quickly enough, which was able to give the Terran player the advantage. Now, once Jimpo lands this command center, he will be able to get in the Planetary Fortress, which will help him lock down this location. Extremely difficult to deal with Planetary Fortress with Zerglings. However, the Ultras are fairly effective against that because the splash damage on the workers can be utilized. So Jimpo, with the shield upgrade, now finishing his second attack upgrade, is in a pretty good defensive location. He is spawning, or not spawning, but positioning his units in a location where it's going to be difficult for the little one to get a good surround, because the little one, if he runs up here, he's going to get blasted away. If he runs up here, going to get blasted away as well. So I really got to hand it to Jimpo, able to push out of his main base, not get contained, and actually get the little one in a slightly defensive position. But the reason that is we have Broodlords on the way, we have more Infestors, Ultralists. Basically every tech unit in the game for the Zerg player is now on the way, and apparently there's an Ultralist is taking a ride in his fatty Overlord there. Look at this, doing Ultralist drops, not something you will see very often, but able to snipe one of the siege tanks that was guarding this, and now he's actually transitioned Jimpo, that is, into some Marauders, which will do additional damage versus armored. However, that is not effective at all against the Zerglings or the Broodlords. Now, one siege tank is in range here, although I don't know if it's going to get in range soon enough, as unfortunately for Jimpo, he does not have any Vikings on the field. There are some Marines, but Marines are virtually worthless against the Broodlords, so he's got to try and push down here before the little one can muster up enough army to defend this hatchery. However, I don't know if it's going to happen. The little one is mustering his entire army over here. The splash damage not nearly enough for that Ultralist to survive. However, there are more Ultralists running on the way, and all these units have been fungal growth, and oh, this is a complete slaughter. These Ultralists are having a heyday, as it is like just blasting through 25 pinatas for these guys, completely one-sided, although somehow the choke has been held by Jimpo, the little one committing a little bit too much to that attack. He should have backed out after killing that big Marine ball, and there is only one Broodlord, I believe, on the field. Just taking a look here, yes, only one Broodlord, so they are vulnerable to snipe, and we are seeing units actually get sniped here by these Marines. There is one Zergling in there. That's not going to do anything, though. He does not want to get out of that Overlord. However, that will be his demise. Now, the little one does have this expansion on the right side. Jimpo does have his planetary fortress up, and it is secure, so his income shouldn't be too far behind. Although, actually, it's 1,800 behind, but if he can lock down this expansion, it will even it out just a little bit. So many drones are going down, so Jimpo is pushing into this expansion, and he is holding the ramp. The little one unwisely trying to break up this ramp. You can see how quickly these Ultralists are going to be dying. However, they did quite a bit of splash damage before dying. These drones trying to get out of there. It is not going to work. So now Jimpo, once again, is using his momentum to keep himself in this game. If you look at the income tab, that's what I'm talking about. Locking down that expansion is really going to help out Jimpo in this game, and he is in pretty good spot. I think part of the problem is the little one committed to too many attacks and running into too many choke points instead of just getting the Broodlords that he needed. I think Broodlords would have been a slightly better tech source, or tech switch, simply because Ultralists are vulnerable. They can take damage from the Marines and the siege tanks. However, the Broodlords, if positioned correctly, will not take any damage from those units, and the siege tanks will actually do splash damage to the Marines, because for those of you who don't know, Broodlords spawn Broodlings, which are an actual unit on the ground. You can see these units actually being shot down. Now, Vikings are on the field. We have 2 more Vikings on the way, which is going to be very, very bad now for the little one, as the Zerg player, or Zerg at this moment in the game, are not going to have that much anti-air. So one Broodlord does go down. You can see there's nothing here to actually shoot these Vikings. So the Vikings are flying over this army, getting free reign, and they could even start killing Overlords now, which you can see an Overlord party over here, as they aren't actually sure what to do now, as the little one is in a lot of trouble. Now, he does have an expansion up on the left side, but I don't know if he's going to have anything to deal with these Vikings, which means no Broodlords, and trying to do some drops over here, or scouting or something, but there is going to be no anti-air for the little one, so all these Overlords are very vulnerable. I love how Jimpo is flying his Vikings around and harassing these Overlords. That's exactly what he needs to do. However, there is going to be a counterattack into the main, as Jimpo's army completely out of position to deal with this. The Zerglings could do a lot of damage to the SCVs should they run past, and some Banelings are blowing up here. He wants to go for the supply depots if possible, but no, he's got to try and back out. Once he got to run into Jimpo's entire army, so this army is going to go down. The little one, though, is committing a couple more units over here. Does he have enough to actually kill this? He's running the Zerglings around behind for a flank. The Vikings even landing to get in on the action. The Zerglings trying to do as much damage as possible, and it looks like Jimpo able to hold on by a thread from that attack. Now, you got to remember, the little one has no mining going on right now. He does have 37 drones, most of them right here, as he is transferring them down. I'm kind of curious if this is income at anything. I believe that is actually going to go down to 0, as the little one now transferring all of his drones to that expansion. However, Vikings are going to fly over here. They could potentially land. There's one Hydralisk here who's going to have fun shooting these Vikings, but if the Vikings land, they will kill that Hydra. There we go right now, and some Zerglings are spawning here, so the little one needs to hold on to this location. However, he cannot. He backs out that Hydra with 1 HP remaining, And this is actually looking really bad for the little one right now, as Jimpo has been able to claw his way back into this game. He has this expansion fully mining. He has the planetary fortress there to defend it. It has not been destroyed, as it is only at 1200 HP. Almost impossible for the little one to destroy that at this moment. Now, the one Hydralisk here is trying to do as much damage as he can, but he is not fast enough to actually kill off these Vikings as they fly away. And Jimpo actually building a supply depot here to prevent that hatchery from going down. The SCV snickering to himself as he does prevent that. Now, does the little one have enough to kill this army? This is all these players have left. If we look at the army size tab, only 79 for the little one, 138 for our Terran player. However, he does have way more workers, so that's a slightly less of a gap than you might think. And these Vikings are all going to get taken out. So the overlords of the little one are now going to be safe for a little bit longer. I don't know if that's going to play that crucial of a role, though, as this hatchery is going to get taken out as well. The little one is in dire straits here. Is that even the right saying? I don't think so. But he needs to be very careful here. Really, I don't know if he can win it at this point, because if he counterattacks, he's just going to get trapped inside the Terran base. And the little one actually has nothing left to... He's not even... Well, he is mining from this location. However, the army size is telling leagues as to the pace of this game for the little one. 81 to 142. So Jimpo in an extremely powerful spot, trying to drop some Banelings. And did you see that? He even tried to transfuse that Overlord, but it got sniped too quickly. So I think that was the little one's last-ditch effort. This is all he's got left. And oh, running up in that high ground, the siege tank's able to soften up that army. So look at that Jimpo focusing down that Overlord. And I can't believe the little one actually tried to transfuse it to heal it, but it was not enough. That transfuse ability does not have a cooldown, so you can use it very quickly. However, it was not quick enough. Apparently, there's a lot of SCVs not actually working here, as they're following another SCV, so that's what's going on there. However, that location is fairly saturated, and now Jimpo's army, they are pissed. They want vengeance, and they are now double, exactly double right now the supply of the little one. So this expansion is all the little one has left. He has used every resource. These units have stemmed and are running up. They are going to focus down the hatchery. This is all the little one has left. There are some Banelings. We could see some fungal growth being used. Yes, we do. Banelings exploding, but 2 drones is not going to be enough. The little one has GG'd out of the game. He did not win this game. Wow, what an epic game. I do have to hand it to Jimpo in this one. Outstanding play. Even though I would say he was extremely far behind, he was able, with really good positioning, to keep himself in the game. The battle down here was really crucial, as the little one just ran into a funnel. I was trying to mention the positioning of those siege tanks, not only here and here, but also right here to guard both sides, was extremely effective. And then when Jimpo was able to move down to this location, the little one did send some units up this ramp. Now, there was an attempt at some early harass with that Banshee. It did kill 5 drones. I don't think it affected the little one that much, because he was able to just macro up very heavily. And look at these drones. Oh, God, we have an exploding drone right here. That looks painful. Fungal growth. I just love looking at the last battles that are frozen. I feel like I'm looking at Boxer. A random SCV just chilling down here with a barrel of gas. So he's pretty cool. And this is all that Jimpo had left, as if we look at the units, 8 siege tanks, 16 marines. Oh, I guess he did have 19 marauders. So there was absolutely no way the little one could have won this. All he had was that one Hydralisk, which he was a hero, but not enough to kill his entire army. 1 Infestor, and of course those 2 Queens. So anyways, what a great game. I think what the little one should have done, foresight is 2020, is probably get out more Broodlords and less Ultralisks. However, the Ultras are very powerful. The problem is they did not have the upgrades they needed to do the damage quickly. They did have that 3 armor, but they did not have the attack upgrades to do that splash damage. So the medevacs were able to stay alive. And every second that siege tanks are alive, they are doing more and more and more damage, and they were able to just blast away those Ultralists. I do want to mention that the siege tanks do additional damage to armored, and so I think that was really a unit composition and an upgrade composition problem for the little one. Jimpo played it out perfectly. I probably would have left that game a long time ago, but that was a very fun game to watch. So that is that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love you all, and I will see you guys next time.